Hello and welcome to our virtual video games tour of Bradford. This tour, it was originally planned as part of Tech Week Bradford, which took place in October 2020. So my name's Alan and I'm going to be your tour guide for part one of this tour. I'm a computing teacher. I now work for an internet service provider in Bradford called Exa Networks. We regularly host events like this and activities for teachers, schools and families. So today you're going to join me as we venture around Bradford district and some other areas of West Yorkshire. And we're going to discover all the opportunities and the activities that exist for those with an interest in video games. Now, it might just be for fun. Maybe you're thinking about studying something that might lead to a career working in video games. So whatever age you are, I hope there's going to be something of interest for you. Now, the aim of the tour is to give you a taster for what's already available. And in the process of planning the tour, I've been really lucky to interview some people who are already working in video games and those who support education in video games. Now, I'm not going to be able to include all of these in our tour, but you can go and watch them afterwards if you go and visit our Bradford Tech Week playlist on our Exa Foundation YouTube channel. Now, just before we start, something to mention. So you probably heard the word COVID before, and at the time of recording this tour, we've had extended periods of lockdown and social distancing, which means that businesses and organizations are having to, think and change their admissions policies. So all of the events and attractions I talk about are available, but you really do need to check in advance about their opening times so that you can avoid any disappointment. Now, let me just share my screen. So we're starting off in the center of Bradford, but just before I do that, I've just mentioned our YouTube channel where you can find all of this. So let me just see, so there's a URL, which is http://exa.is/ Bradford Tech Week. I'll send it to you later on if you want. But basically, we've got all of the interviews and some of the tours I'm going to include are on there. Now, back to Centenary Square in Bradford. So you can see, you might recognize some of the council buildings there, the fountains in the middle. And there's lots of places, obviously, if you're well acquainted with Bradford, you'll know exactly where we are. So one of the nice things about this particular tour is everything we're going to visit isn't very far from the centre, Centenary Square. And the first place we're going to go and visit today, so today's just like a mini tour, is we're going to head over to the Science and Media Museum. Now, while I get things ready, I wonder if you can think of, if you're interested in video games, maybe thinking about studying computing, computer science, what might there be at the Media Museum that would be of interest to you? And I'm going to go and teleport us over there now. Okay, so here's a video recorded a little while ago. Let's see if I can go full screen on this. And it's a bit noisy. It is if I turn the volume on. Okay, and I'm going to pause the video there. So you can see it's about 25 seconds, this video. So we're in the games lounge at the Science and Media Museum in Bradford. So you could think, well why? How is this going to help somebody who's interested in maybe working in video games? Well, traveling back in time in video games helps you understand where video games have come from, trace their history. And what's quite lovely about this particular place, so I could mute the video and play it again. So let's go back and play it. Oh, try that again. So what's quite nice about this particular place is often when you go to museums and galleries, things are in glass cabinets and it's difficult to actually touch them. But that's not true here. You can actually go over and touch the arcade machines. Now, I mentioned earlier about COVID. Well, when the museum has reviewed some of these, it's actually better in a way because you book your ticket in advance to go. It used to be you just wander in there anytime you wanted, but at the moment you book a slot to go in, and it means you've got the place pretty much to yourself. So there's lots of what people call coin-op machines from the past. There's a whole load of those, and they're all working all of the time. It's very rare you'll go in there and find that some of them are faulty. There's also lots of arcade consoles, like some of the ones that you can see behind me on the shelf. And these are all on a wall, so you can travel back to the 1980s and see what it was like playing some of those games. And there's titles there you may have heard of, like Manic Miner and Pong and all of those. So they're the kind of hands-on things. Now, for the next thing I'd like to show you, I've got some photo album. Let's see if I can get to the right place. Try it again. Okay, so I've visited it various times. Sometimes I'll go there with a school, sometimes I go there with friends. And yeah, okay, there are some, because there's some old computers that are very delicate and they don't really want lots of people manhandling them and dropping them. I've just shown you that video. But inside, if you look far off in the distance, there's a wall that traces the development and history of video games in a storyline, a display that you might see in a classroom somewhere, and you can trace various decades, what was going on, and I think that's a nice feature. There's another wall as well that's got something else to do with the design and development of video games. And by the way, in the shop downstairs, they have some really, really nice little gifts that you might want to have a look at related to video games. So let's see what else. Oh, this was a particular favorite to me. So when this Alan here was 11 years old, for Christmas, he got one of these Sinclair Spectrums with a Manic Miner game on. But you'll also see some of the graphics from certain games appear on the wall. And there's another wall display that actually explains a little bit about how artists for video games, so they're not all programmers, people who work in video games industry, but about how they would develop scenery, the storyline, the play, and all of these kind of things. So it's definitely somewhere that's worth going to visit. Now, while we're visiting the Games Lounge, I did say it's worth looking in advance to see. So you can go to the Science and Media Museum website and you can find out on there any updated news. So today when I'm there, it's telling me what time it's open and how you might go and book, and often there's links to other activities as well that you might be interested in, so you can scroll down and read a little bit more about that. Now, there's something else that happens at the Science and Media Museum, but it only happens once a year, but it happens for usually a week or two or so. And we're going to play this video, and I want you to see if you can guess what it is that takes place there, usually in February. So let me start the video.
Hi, we are at the Yorkshire Games Festival in Bradford at the National Science and Media Museum. We're running a fun tournament in Rocket League just here in Pitcherville Cinema. So we're having about 16 teams fight out in a knockout tournament to find out who's the best at Rocket League in the area. We're here to promote the British eSports Championships, the eSports Association, and what we do in different schools and colleges across the UK.
Put your side plate off to the side. Can still be a good cross. Then Mel trying to stop it, but no one can get there. Someone needs to clear it. Then Mel takes up the responsibility. I'll take a win. All right, a huge round of applause for both teams. They both did fantastic.
thoughts have been it's been really cool, like coming here to play on the eSports tournament, and yeah, it's just fun.
I definitely enjoyed it.
Yeah,
Enjoyed winning.
of course.
Enjoyed getting 12-0. And overall, it was good and fun.
Yeah, is this something that you'd look to do again? If there's more tournaments, would you look to...
Definitely, yeah. I think he's really got a taste for it now, and I think I have as well. So I think we'll be looking out for any upcoming tournaments. Yeah.
Did you manage to play any games last year?
No, I didn't. No. I mean, obviously he's learned from the master, but I didn't manage to get on there and play with him. But maybe next time.
So I'll pause in the video there. Every time I tell people about this, people are surprised. Like, what? There's a games festival in Yorkshire. It's not just in Yorkshire. It's actually Bradford. So for some of you, it's right on your doorstep. Now, last year I visited in 2020, current year, and it was in the first week of February. And I've just been earlier today. I've been on the website. Let me see, which tab is that? Yeah, and it's due to take place at the beginning of February again next year. Now, lots of different people go there, different ages and backgrounds. So you'll have professional video games developers, so people who all they do is work and develop and design things for video games. You can meet those kind of people there because they're going as well. They want to find out about the latest developments that are going on. But then again, depending on your age, if you're at school, schools are invited to go along. Now, obviously, if we've still got social distancing and lockdown going on in February 2021, I would imagine there's going to be a lot of that will be online. So perhaps your teachers can start making some early inquiries about whether there's activities you could do while you're in your classroom. Maybe there could be like a club kind of thing and competitions. So that's definitely worth. So if you do visit the website for the Yorkshire Games Festival, you'll see that there's details on there. You can actually, there's no harm in sending an email to somebody and asking them if they can tell you about, but they also have a Twitter account and a Facebook page. And if you go on the festival archive, that means things that have happened in previous years. They've got loads of videos from previous years, interviews with games developers, people from all over the world descend on Bradford for a week. And it's a real highlight in the games industry. So what do you know, just happening here on your doorstep. So I do have another short video. Let's see if I can get that from, it was, so I sat in on one of the sessions. So I mentioned before, EXA Foundation is my work with. We were running activities there this year as part of the family time. And I took my phone along and recorded some of this as well. This is in the Pictureville Cinema. And I think it's Rocket League, those people who might recognize it. Now, I'm not going to spoil what happens next, but so some of you will recognize it as Rocket League. So it's like a multiplayer game where squads compete against squads from other parts of the country, and then there's like different leagues and people. So it's not really an area I know a huge amount, but I do know that esports is a growing sport in the UK, and British esports visited the Yorkshire Games Festival last year. Now, if you would like to know more about esports, there's a fantastic place in Bradford that you should really check out. And that's do you know what? I think maybe I've given you enough for today. So what I could do is if I record another part of this later on, I'll call it part 2. I'll tell you a little bit more about this particular games arena. Maybe you've been there, maybe you've heard of it, where they host events every day of the week that you can go along to and find out more about things like Tekken, Fortnite, and not just find out about them, but actually take part in real live action there. So in the next part of the tour, not only will we visit the games arena in Bradford, but we'll also be talking to people who are employed in the video games industry, living, working in Bradford and other parts of West Yorkshire. So that's it for this first little taster. Thank you.